Welcome back. Well, the SGX Nifty is down, but actually it's not, that weak. Maybe because the market had digested some of the weakness from the global market. But the big question is, has the market turned, and is this now a market in which, just like we had that big upside, we'll have a big downside? We'll find out. Prakash Diwan is joining us first up on the show. Prakash, hi, good morning. Thanks a lot for joining us. I wanted your thoughts first on the IT stocks, because after Wipro and TCS, now Infosys is also saying that they'll be either delaying or cutting the variable pay. Clearly, this margin pressure is pinching. Stocks corrected, and after that we've seen a decent rally from the lows. But what next?
Good morning, Anuj. So you're absolutely right. I mean, this couldn't have happened if the margin pressure was as benign as probably some of the commentary made it look when the results were out in early July. Interestingly, what's happening is that the moment the leaders start doing it or the bigger companies start doing it, it becomes almost like a uniform pattern. I mean, if Wipro could do it and live with it, there's no reason why Infosys would not want to do it. So this whole madness that had come into the compensation side on IT companies is probably getting a bit corrected of sorts. Of course, nobody expected it to happen too soon. And the interesting part is that these are companies that are willing to live with the attrition numbers going up. I mean, they already are at a decent, 28%, 26%. It's not that, it's very low. But the whole point is that if you're staring at a recession from the US and the order booking is not going to be as robust, there's no point in chasing talent and building such a big bench. So this is going to be interesting, because now you will probably have utilization rates and efficiency of the workforce getting into so much of play, and offshore onshore differentiation will start making a big difference. So I think it's interesting. It will give us reasons to dissect and segregate, how to expect companies to perform. It's not going to be a broad brush performance for all large companies. So there are definitely some differentiators that will come about if this gets to be a slightly deeper trend.
Okay. Well, let's see. For now, there's some fatigue kicking into the IT space for sure. Margins under pressure, variable pay on hold. That's definitely going to impact the stocks. Prakash, good morning. I wanted your thoughts on Cipla, because we'll play out an interview from the management in a while from now. But very interesting takeaways. They're saying that their 10,000 crore India business can double in the next 5 years. And they're looking at big growth in the wellness space as well. Almost 2,500 to 3,000 crore revenues from there. Let's get back to Prakash Diwan. This was the question that I posed to him. Is Cipla a stock to buy right now? Prakash, over to you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think this is one stock, Sonia, that doesn't give you sleepless nights, irrespective of whatever happens in the US and globally. They've been able to withstand most of this. And very clearly what Umang was mentioning about, I mean, if the price erosion is already is anticipated by the management, it's no more a risk, right? I mean, you work towards it in that sense. And interestingly, the India business, which is the more profitable part, rather than being into the US generics or, some capital allocation to specialties, which has a long drawn return profile, they've managed to do very specific launches which have done well. And, this is one stock from a price perspective, which is what investors would want to look at. If you look at, it's probably the only pharma stock that's not very off the 52-week high, right? I mean, it's kind of withstood this pressure even in the month of May and June, and now it's just probably about 5% short of its 52-week mark, and it never is volatile. So I think it's a great portfolio pick. Don't expect fireworks, because there's nothing that suddenly is going to help it double or something, but it stands on a very strong footing in terms of its portfolio mix and the geographical focus that it has on the right pockets, Sonia.
Okay.
Prakash, just to come back to that IT point, I mean, of course, one is direct implications for IT, but IT professionals and what they get paid, variable, not variable, is a big driver of a lot of consumption, right? A lot of consumption sectors, yes. Real estate, etc., as well. Yeah. Discretionary consumption, big time, across large cities. Is that, one doesn't know if this is a start of something deeper, but any way to think about this?
No, that's an interesting point, Prashant, because we've always seen, wage hikes from a more secular standpoint have resulted in such great translation into the Bangalore housing market picking up, Pune picking up. So we've seen anecdotally this does happen. But the situation that we are right now in is more about how IT professionals get paid, how it is sliced in terms of their fixed and variable this. I mean, you heard the management of Wipro talking against moonlighting for some reasons that they've figured out is not efficient for the organization as a whole. So so what's going to happen is the nature of revenue generation or income generation for these professionals could change. And people will probably be more project specific, more assignment specific, rather than being on the wage roles and just kind of keep on expecting. So that might alter a little bit of that portfolio. I mean, of that consumption dispensation, but I don't think it's such a significant play as yet. Unless, as I said, if this trend gets into vogue and you have this cut across this thing, and even the number of the headcount starts shrinking, that's the biggest worry. This might not result into so much of this, where the disposable income is what we are talking about, seeing a little bit of a thing for a slice of professionals. But yes, it does have a bearing, and hopefully we will outlive that in terms of the growth from other pockets.
Okay, Prakash, stock that we normally don't discuss often, Suzlon. What's happening here? Anything that you've heard? It's been the top traded counter for some time now. I mean, just right after Zomato, and quite a bit of excitement in the stock, even in a weak market.
Oh, yes. Interesting that you picked this, Anuj. I know these things you don't miss out on. The market's been a bit abuzz with, revival of things, things that seem finally more constructive than just hope. And to be honest, the kind of pickup that you've seen in the wind energy sector, it's gone through a severe consolidation, a brutal consolidation. Whoever is left out is actually now reaping in the benefits. And there is a possibility that the government might start focusing on wind as much more than what they've done on solar. And we've seen the results in solar. So renewables, and traditionally, wind power is something that we've had just a few pockets there where we've seen some affluence happen with Tamil Nadu, Gujarat and all. But there is a huge potential on offshore wind projects coming up. And if that picks up, and just to give you some data, the wind energy contribution in the US renewables portfolio is the largest. And then you have things like solar and gas and biomass and all. So we are kind of behind on that curve. And if that were to happen, the government focusing on this, you could have some revival in this business as well. And they've got all the excess baggage out, which is good for the balance sheet also. But it still needs repair. I mean, I'm not too sure whether at $8-9 it's a great story as yet. Let the narrative actually play out and move from a hope to a promise kind of a thing. And then probably things would look better. But yes, I can see the screen is smartening up for this counter for the last couple of weeks.